Hello to everyone. I'm Vladimir Vlade, aka the Bulgarian Cowboy. Now it's time to discuss some predictions for this lovely card. Sorry, because my camera is a bit under a weird angle, but I'm very, very tired. Now we're going to discuss this lovely event which takes place this weekend in Norfolk, Virginia. And I guarantee you, if there is a live stream at Fight Channel, be sure that I will be broadcasting it. So now let's see. Let's kick off from the beginning and looking back at this. Now we'll start from the first fight. In this event, I'm especially happy because Tom Breeze is returning back, just to know. Because Tom Breeze is Natalia Frederick's compatriot and Mos Zubair's compatriot. Natalia Frederick is giving me an interview tomorrow. So let's kick off from the beginning. Now the first match is between Sean Brady and Ismail Nurdiev. Ismail Nurdiev, well, yeah, he competes under the Austrian flag. Even his moniker is Austrian Wonder Boy, riding on a score of 19-3. But looking back at this, he's the former AG welterweight champion, and he has good submissions. He has good striking. You can call him an all-around guy. I am free to say that he is an all-around guy. Even at ACB, he scored 3-1. Looking back at ACB, it's a very, very tough promotion. I spoke to Luis Palomino yesterday, who also competed at ACB, and he says there is no difference between Western-based promotions and ACB, even in the organization, even in the fighters and such things. And you all know who Luis Baboon Palomino is. He fought recently at BKFC. He's a former mixed martial artist, and yeah. Looking back at Ismail Nurdiev, you must know that this lovely guy has amazing kicks. He has a wheel kick from hell, a kick to the body from hell, and yeah, he has a great finishing ability. Well, in his UFC, he has a score of 2-1 with decision wins over Michel Prazeres and CR Bahadurzada, and a unanimous decision loss to Chance Rencontre. Sorry if I misspelled, but... On the other side, we've got Sean Brady, an undefeated prospect, Renzo Gracie, Philly fighter, who, well, he made a great debut against Court McGee in the UFC, where he scored a unanimous decision win. Before that, he was fighting in many promotions, and mostly CFFC and LFA. He had one battle, but CFFC was his other home. And he has one entertaining knockout via spinning back fist. Looking back at this, he is a cardio machine, a cardio guy from hell. Believe it or not, the guy has 6 unanimous decision wins. So his gas tank is endless. I am pretty much sure that this is going to be a tough match to call because both fighters are pretty much similar. They have good fighting styles, both of them, but Ismail Nurdiev is simply a guy where you never know. You can't predict what he's gonna do. He's very, very unpredictable fighter. Good on the ground, good on the canvas. The other side, I watched Sean Brady only once. Maybe this was even one of his worst matches against Court McGee, because Court McGee is very, very far from his prime now. So, looking back at this, I believe Ismail Nurdiev has bigger chances to win. Because Ismail Nurdiev right now, he is at his prime, and I am pretty much sure that I'd give him 55%. The next match is between Alan Cruz and Spike Carlisle. Alan Cruz is, let's say, a good fighter with a score of 8-1, while Spike Carlisle is a fighter with a score of 8-1. So it's pretty much even combination, you know. You got 2 even fighters here. You got a fighter like Alan Cruz. He scored the Dana White Contender Series. He scored a flying knockout against Steven Nugent, which is okay. But before that, we haven't seen some super entertaining games from him. Only 1 triangle choke wins, 1 retirement. I mean, there was no super entertaining battles. On the other side, Spike Carlisle, known under the nickname of Alpha Ginger, this is also his debut. And I'll be honest, I watched him only once, and it happened against... I found a video where he knocked out Matthew I think Kokuhun, I don't know to spell it, but I watched that knockout. And he goes of big distance when he does a spinning back fist, which is awesome. These are two very, very similar fighters, very much evenly matched. I mean, this is tough to predict because Spike Carlisle, he has two rare naked choke wins, and one armbar. Looking back at Alan Cruz, he's kind of guy, he can defeat you with a submission, he can end you with an unpredictable movement, but I believe he can show better striking. But Spike Carlisle has entertaining strikes. Alan Cruz has entertaining strikes. So if you ask me, it's a 50-50 battle. It can only be 50-50 battle because, I don't know, man. I would give slight advantage maybe to Alan Cruz, but this is a 50-50 battle, and it's very, very tough. It's very, very tough to predict it. And now, Jordan Griffin versus TJ Brown. So, man, this will be the war, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Griffin, well, the native psycho, riding a score of 17-7. A tough guy, a tough guy, submission phenom, ground guy, ground fighter. He finishes the majority of his fights on the ground, if not all of his fights. He only scored one head kick knockout in his whole match. It happened again against Ben Pierre Saint at KOTC Total Dominance in 2015. More than that, everything was finished on the ground via a devastating barrage of punches or via neck crank, armbar, guillotine choke, rare naked choke, or any other submission. So this guy is very, very dangerous on the ground, and you don't want to end up on the ground with this dangerous featherweight guy. Now his opponent is TJ Brown from Little Rock, Arkansas, with a score of 14-6, and he is now having a dangerous opponent. Looking back at Jordan Griffin, at Dana White's Contender Series, he choked out Maurice Mitchell, but he was unable to defeat Dan Ige and Chas Kelly. He lost via unanimous decision. He wasn't bad in these fights. I watched both of them. He was not bad, but he lost. So this is a must-win position for him, which puts him in a bad spot. Looking back at TJ Brown, well, it's time to see how Mr. Downtown is gonna ride at his debut. He comes from Little Rock, Arkansas, and looking back at this guy, I can say that his debut might be entertaining, because he's riding on a score of 4 wins. He has that head kick from hell. He has good submissions, arm triangle choke especially, and rare naked choke. So we will see how will he run against the real beasts, But looking back at Jordan Griffin, he'll try to take the fight to the ground. He is a ground phenom, a ground guy, and he'll shoot in. He'll try to go down ASAP, and I believe this is going to be a great battle. Looking back at Jordan Griffin, he has fantastic submissions. Looking back at TJ Brown, he also has fantastic submissions. So good submission defense, good submission game. Better striking is on the side of TJ Brown, so I believe he could win if he keeps the fight standing. If he goes to the ground, I'd anyway give advantage to Jordan, the native psycho Griffin, but we're gonna see. And the next fight. This is actually my favorite one. It's between Sergey the Polar Bear Spivak and Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura, black belt in BJJ, amazing Polish fighter with a score of 17-6. But unfortunately, since he was the former M1 heavyweight champion, he also turned the lights out on Konstantin Glukhov, choked out Damian Grabowski, and defeated Ante Delia. He was on a great run, and even against Victor Pešta at his second UFC fight after a head kick knockout, he even scored the performance of the night. But after victories over Luis Henrique and Andrei Arlovski, his shape started to go down, and he is 4-5. He won only one match in his last 5 fights, with hard losses to Derek Lewis, Shamil Abdurakhimov, and Augusto Sakai, who finished him very much early on. Fabricio Verdum decisioned him. He was only better after 3 rounds against Stefan Struve, so this is a must-win position for him. Otherwise, he's going to get released. On the other side, we got Sergey Spivak, who arrived as an undefeated prospect in this competition to square off against Walt Harris. But despite that, despite his amazing submissions and great kicks and punches, he was unable to do anything against Harris, who pressed him against the fence and kept pouring shots until he gave up, until Spivak finally was unable to continue. But then Spivak bounced back against Tai Tuivasa. So is it good or not for Sergey Spivak? Well, if Sergey Spivak wins now, he might even get the ranked status. He has great submissions, especially arm bars and arm triangle choke, which he did against Tai Tuivasa. But Marcin Tybura is a BJJ black belt, so it's useless against him. Rear naked choke, triangle arm bar. He is just dangerous with submissions. He has good submission defense. It's useless against him. So I believe Marcin Tybura has the advantage here because he likes such type of the opponent. So this is a win-win situation for Marcin Tybura, if you ask me. The next fight is between Brendan Allen, known under the nickname Olin, and Tom Breeze. Brendan Allen, 13-3 the score, and he arrived from the LFA where he fought some, well, let's say better names. He was defeated there to Eric Anders. Eric Anders even praised Brendan Allen in an interview with me. So yeah, he says he's a tough dude, tough fighter. So I believe Eric Anders. And Brendan Allen earned his score at Dana White's Contender Series Season 3, Episode 4, where he choked out Aaron Jafari. And then at UFC and ESPN 6, he choked out Kevin Holland, which came as a big surprise. Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze, unfortunately, he had many ups and downs. You know, he was squared off against Cesar Ferreira, Alessio Di Chirico, again Cesar Ferreira, but he was unlucky, you know, and he never got the chance to fight them, unfortunately for him. And this was pretty much sad period in the life of Tom Breeze, and he is finally returning after nearly 2 years of the layoff. And the former Bay MMA welterweight champion, well, he got to say he is a great fighter on the ground, you know, rear naked choke, triangle choke. These are his special skills. He knows to TKO, to finish opponents. At UFC, he has a great score of 4-1, 4 victories, 1 loss. Luis Dutra Jr. TKO punches, Ketel Pendred TKO punches, Keita Nakamura decision, Dan Kelly TKO punches, and he lost via razor close split decision to Sean Strickland, which was kind of, I believe, pretty much unfair because I watched that fight. I pretty much believe that Tom Breeze won rounds 1 and 2, but all right. Brendan Allen, well, his chokes will probably be useless against Tom Breeze because Tom Breeze knows to defend his neck well, and I believe Tom Breeze has better striking. So I mean, he trains with Natalis Frederick, and I know some insider info that you probably don't know. So I believe this is going to be a great battle, and I give advantage to Tom Breeze. Now the next match between Gabriel Silva and Kyra Phillips. Gabriel Silva, well, the tough Brazilian guy with a score of 8-1. He mostly finishes via knockout. He has only 1 triangle choke win. Good submission defense, got to say. He's a tough, powerful fighter, but only 1 UFC fight where he lost via decision to Ray Borg. But don't underestimate this guy. I mean, the guy from Villa Veda, well, he's a Team Nogueira fighter, so you shouldn't underestimate him. On the other side, we got Kyra Phillips, known under the nickname of Matrix, with a score of 6-1. And this is his debut. He scored 1 calf slicer victory, but he mostly finishes his opponents' elbows, punches, head kicks, and he only suffered 1 loss. Well, this might be a tricky match for him because, you know, Kyra Phillips, well, he is a good guy, Matrix, you know. At Gabriel Silva, I believe he is a better fighter on the ground. And if the fight is taken to the ground, I'd give advantage to Gabriel Silva. In the stand-up, the fighters are even. So I believe Gabriel Silva should have the advantage here. I slightly believe it should happen. And the next one is Luis Peña against Alex Munoz. So Luis Pena, well, he is a good fighter, got to say. Wrestling, kickboxing, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, well, he is a good dude, And looking back at this, I need to say that this is gonna be a great battle because, you know, we got many pretty much entertaining fighters to look, and looking back at this, I'm pretty much about Alex Munoz gonna say that interestingly, he earned his contract at, believe it or not, Dana White's Contender Series, where he squared off against Nick Newell. So, yeah, this was, let's say, a tough period in his life, and I'm pretty much, how to say, I'm pretty much happy because I believe this could have been a great matchup for Alex Munoz because, Alex Munoz, looking back at this, well, he had a tough road, XKO, he scored 2 knockouts. He had a hard match against Richie Richardson. He split decision Mateus Ubirahara, and he fought Nick Newell. I mean, Nick Newell is a very, very tough dude. I mean, he is a congenital amputee, but he's a tough dude. You don't want to end up on the ground with him, and his wrestling performance is just stunning, guys, just stunning. And now Luis Pena on the other side, well, riding a score of 7-2. Luis Pena is the former vacant F lightweight champion, where he defeated Damir Ferhatbegovic. And Valor fights, it's kind of a fair promotion, And now he will bounce against some names, and he won TUF undefeated finale. He won the tournament where he scored a win over Richie Smullen, then lost to Michael Trizano. Steven Peterson, he was better via unanimous decision. TKO'd Matt Wyman, and then lost to Matt Frevola. So, looking back at this fight, Alex Munoz comes as an undefeated prospect, but I'm pretty much unsure about this fight because I don't know. I think Alex Munoz is right now in a good shape, but Luis Pena is looking for a way to bounce back. I'd anyway put my money on the guy from Dallas, Texas, Alex Munoz, but we're gonna see. And now we arrive the main card. Grant Dawson, known under the nickname KGD, will square off against Derek Miner, and Derek Miner is a real legend of this sport, riding a score of 24-10, while Grant Dawson is a 14-1. So this is the clash between experience and youth, between experience and desire to win, desire to be the famous Derek Miner. Well, you know what's interesting? This is his, believe it or not, UFC debut. It's kind of strange, because the guy has 34 fights under his belt, and the majority of his wins arrived via submissions, so you can call him a submission phenom. But he was also losing via submissions, which is kind of, all right. He lost to Herbert Burns. I talked to Herbert Burns about his fight with Derek Miner, and he said the guy is tough, but Herbert Burns Jiu-Jitsu, you can't compare it. It's just too good. But Jordan Griffin lost, Fernando Padilla lost, and Jesse Arnett lost were all via submissions, Also John Deval lost, Chad Obermiller lost, even Dominic Blanco lost. He was either winning or losing via submissions. So what should it mean? His submissions are great, but against Grant Dawson, we would have to analyze Grant Dawson. He is a rising prospect with also good submissions, especially that fabulous stunning rear naked choke, because the guy has 7-8 rear naked choke wins. At UFC, he's riding a score of 2-0 with decision win over Julian Erosa and the submission victory over Michael Trizano, earning the score and earning the contract at Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series Season 1, Episode 6. So, looking back at this guy, I strongly believe this could be a tough one to predict because Derek Miner, he either has a good day in the office or a bad day in the office. Grant Dawson, he is a young, talented fighter. So when I look at those two guys, it's hard to say. A guy from Nebraska squares off a guy from Nebraska, so this is the derby of Nebraska. I don't know. Grant Dawson has fewer experience, but I expect a decision fight, a decision war, and maybe slight advantage to Grant Dawson, but this will be tough. Now Megan Anderson squares off against Norma Dumont. Well, Norma Dumont, known under the nickname of Immortal, and she comes from Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, Brazil. She is a tough girl, very, very tough girl, very tough to watch, to square off against, and very, very great fighter to watch. Megan Anderson, you all know her, very popular Muay Thai BJJ. 10-4 is her score, and she is very popular at social media. The former interim Invicta FC featherweight champion, the tallest fighter in the division. She became even more famous after this controversial TKO victory over Kat Zingano, and after submission win over Zara Fernandez Santos. She lost to Felicia Spencer and Holly Holm, but these were legends, you know. At Invicta, she lost to Cindy Dandoa, and she was competing against big names. She has a score of 2-2 in her last 4 fights, with losses to Holly Holm and Felicia Spencer. While Norma Dumont, well, I'm kind of surprised because I see this girl in the main card. She has a score of 4-0, and this is her debut, you know, in the most powerful promotion in the world. I don't know much about this girl. She has good rear naked choke. She has a good movement, good steps, and so on, but I don't think she is a good all-rounder to defeat Megan Anderson, but you never know. I watched her video, and if she takes the fight to the ground, I think she has better chances. But if the fight is not taken to the ground, it's going to be Megan Anderson for sure. Now the next one between Yon Kutalaba and Magomed Ankalaev. Yon Kutalaba, well, Yon Kutalaba, you all know him, the best Moldovan mixed martial artist. He knows so many martial arts: sambo, judo, kickboxing, Greco-Roman wrestling. A real grappler is Yon Kutalaba. 2012 European Combat Sambo Championship golden medalist and the owner of one Fight of the Night award, which he scored against Jared Cannonier, and he arrived to the UFC with a score of 11-1, won no contest. Then lost his debut to Misha Tirkunov via arm triangle choke, bounced back against Jonathan Wilson, lost against Jared Cannonier, but it was the fight of the night. Defeated Enrique da Silva, Gajimura Dantigolo via stoppage. Glover Texera choked him out. Then Kyle Roundtree Jr. He defeated Kyle Roundtree Jr. via TKO elbows, which was kind of a surprising outcome to me because I expected Yon is going to choke him out. Magomed Ankalaev, he is international master of sport in MMA and master of sambo with a score of 12-1. And Magomed Ankalaev has great kicks, especially front kick and side kick to the head. Also, we like to say Mawashi kick, Mawashi Gary, or, you know, high kick. He's a master of kicks, but he's a master of stoppage. He is a great striker and the former WFC light heavyweight champion. So he arrived as an undefeated prospect with a score of 10-0, where he lost via triangle choke to Paul Craig, but then bounced back with 2 stoppages over Marcin Prachnio and Dalcio Njambula, and the unanimous decision loss against Klitsu Nabrio. And this is what I'm saying here. Yon Kutalaba has better grappling, and he is a better fighter on the ground. Yeah. I believe too. I give more chances. Hey, Outer Road Runner. I give more chances to Yon Kutalaba in this fight, definitively. Magomed Ankalaev is a better striker. We all know that he has amazing striking. Against Dalcio Njambula, you know that front kick, how it landed. You know high kick against Marcin Prachnio. I followed this guy for a pretty much long period of time, and I also know that his submission defense is not good. Triangle choke against Paul Craig, well, it came out of nowhere, but his submission defense is not good. So if Yon Kutalaba shoots in, and if he takes him down, I'd definitely give more chances to Jon Cutelaba, especially because he's an expert of ground fighting. Maybe it's not going to be submission. I mean, Jon Cutelaba made a big surprise against Kyle Roundtree Jr. And yeah, I give him advantage on the ground. So I give maybe 60% to Jon Cutelaba. Of course, if Ankalaev keeps the fight standing, then I give advantage to Magomed Ankalaev, definitely, because he has one of the most powerful strikings in this weight class, definitely. Now, Felicia Spencer versus Zara Fern dos Santos. Felicia Spencer, well, the Canadian phenom, or however you like to call her, black belt in Taekwondo, black belt in BJJ with a score of 7-1. I'll be honest with you. How to tell you? I'm pretty much emotional towards Felicia Spencer because I come from Taekwondo and BJJ is my favorite grappling martial art. So she's like a dream come true to me, when it comes to martial arts. And yeah, I'm kind of emotional. She's the former vacant FC featherweight champion where she defeated Pam Sorensen. At UFC, she has a score of 1-1 with a rare naked choke win over Megan Anderson and lost to Chris Cyborg. But man, she was heavily battered against Chris Cyborg, but she didn't think for a second to retreat. And definitely, this girl deserves nothing but respect. And she is a very, very good fighter. Looking back at her records, 4 rare naked choke wins, excellent grappling, good cardio, and an ability to finish off the ground, but I'd say a bit weaker striking. That's what I think about Felicia Spencer. Zara Fern dos Santos, 6'3". She comes from France. I'll be honest. Maybe they put her on this co-main event of the evening because, France finally allows MMA and it's not a taboo topic anymore. And, maybe it's because of that. Maybe because they want to make this sport more popular in France and so on. What was happening. There's no need to repeat. I believe many people who follow this are very, very well informed about MMA. And looking back at this, she was finishing in weaker promotions. As soon as she squared off against serious opponent Megan Anderson, she lost via triangle choke at her UFC debut. Megan Anderson is not a submission phenom. She has fair submissions, but she is not a submission queen, a submission phenom. Off the work, keep up the great. Thank you, Auto Road Runner. All right, no problem. Have a great day at work. Thank you so much for the support. And Felicia Spencer, I think this is an easy pick for her, because if she takes her opponent to the ground, this will definitely be a great matchup for her, definitely. Because Zara Fern dos Santos, maybe she can do something in the stand-up, but Felicia Spencer survived Chris Cyborg, so I think this is an easy pick for Felicia Spencer, unless something unpredicted happens. I mean, such things are always possible. And now, Jose Benavidez against Davison Figueiredo. Finally, we've got the title match for vacant flyweight title. Jose Benavidez, so close and so far. Brown prejudice in Muay Thai, great wrestling, great boxing, great BJJ. It's Jose Benavidez, ladies and gentlemen. But he fought for the UFC flyweight championship on 2 occasions where he lost to Demetrius Johnson, once via split decision, once via KO punch. He fought for WAC bantamweight championship where he lost to Dominic Cruz. So yeah, man. This man has always been so close, but so far, great guillotine choke, great triangles, great rear naked choke, great punches, great striking, great all-around fighter, even good body strikes. I mean, he improved his skills. And also, I've got to say, a great cardio machine. In his last match against Jussier Formiga, he shocked me. He really shocked me against Jussier Formiga because, what was the problem? I would never expect a head kick from Jose Benavidez, but he did a great left high kick that dropped Formiga down. He proved that he has all aspects of striking, all aspects of wrestling. So yeah, I mean, what else should you say? This guy is a king. I mean, he deserves that title, but he has a tough opponent. Davison Figueiredo, well, Capoeira, BJJ, Muay Thai, wrestling, boxing, Marajoara wrestling with a score of 17-1. You know, when I talked to Andy Young, I said this guy has the fastest punches in the world. He's not a knockout power artist, you know. He doesn't have a knockout power. We all know that. His knockout power might not be the best in the division, and he has some TKOs, he has some knockouts, and so on. But at UFC, he has only one loss via decision to Jose Formiga. He TKO John Moraga, Joseph Morales, Marco Beltran, split decision Jared Brooks, unanimous decision Alejandro Pantoja, and choked out Tim Elliott via stunning guillotine choke. This is his first title bout. About Jose Benavidez, I mean, what else should I say again about him? He defeated Alex Perez, Dustin Ortiz, even Henry Cejudo, Ali Bagotino, John Moraga, Tim Elliott, Josier Formiga, I mean, Darren Uyanoyama, Ian McCall. He's a real legend of this sport. Even Eddie Violent, man. So he was defeating every big names except of Demetrius Johnson and Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz also defeated him on 2 occasions. So, oh yeah, Sergio Pettis was able to defeat Jose Benavidez. But Jose Benavidez, if he likes, he either likes the type of a fighter or dislikes the type of a fighter. Looking back at Davison Figueiredo, well, Davison Figueiredo has super quick punches. And that's the reason. Hey, Justin, how are you? That's the reason why I strongly believe that Davison Figueiredo might give him a very, very hard time. And on the other side, I really much believe that Davison... Oh, thank you, Justin. How's everything going? Any news? Any interviews? What's going on, brother? So, I believe Davison Figueiredo is definitely a type of a fighter that actually suits Jose Benavidez, because Jose Benavidez likes the guys with quick punches who trade off the pocket and who like to take the fight to the ground. And Davison Figueiredo will probably, at one moment of the fight, try to shoot in and try to change levels. So this might be a good pick for Jose Benavidez, who has ever been so far. Yes, I've seen your Wilson interview. Yeah, I listened to the whole interview. I will also contact Wilson maybe in a week or two, because I have big obligations now, you know, IT Academy and so on. But I will surely contact him again, and he is a great person. I hope it will go well for him. I pretty much hope, because this week I'm pretty much swamped up. I have Natajas Frederick, and I have some other guys, Luis Palomino, and you probably saw I had 4 interviews this week, so I'll contact Wilson for sure. And Wilder Fury, yes, I didn't miss it. I watched the highlights, and I've got to say that I was pretty much shocked with Fury's win, because I didn't expect that. And your breakdown, your comments were also great. But now to end about this fight, I believe Davison Figueiredo is going to lose here, because this is to be or not to be for Jose Benavidez. Jose Benavidez is 35 years old. This is his last chance. Joy 2 times. I mean, I'm a big fan of Davison Figueiredo. I ain't gonna lie to you. He has quick strikes. He's a very, very quick guy. Deus da Guerra, or the God of War. I love him so much, but I believe Jose Benavidez is finally gonna win the title, because he deserves it. It was a hard work and so on. And I vouch here for Jose Benavidez. And yeah, about you, Justin. Yeah, I saw that. And yeah, this is a great, really, really much great interview with Wilson Hayes. And yeah, about Wilder Fury, you showed some very, very good level of knowledge, right? And thank you for helping me the last time to see some battles. Unfortunately, I still don't know whether Fight Channel is going to broadcast this event, but it should be. They mostly broadcast every single event, so I believe they will. And of course, if there is a main card, I will comment just like every single time. Juan Adams, yeah, I heard he signed. So one question for you, Justin. RSFC, I heard that this is a rising organization, but where is the headquarters of that organization? Many fighters are going here. Yeah, I know about Royce Gracie. It was a great interview. I know. Do you know where is the headquarters of RSFC organization. Many fighters, yeah, I don't know either, but many fighters are signing, so it's a really, really good organization. I mean, bringing Phillips and Juan Adams, it's not an easy job, bringing fighters who tasted the UFC blood and who entered the UFC octagon. It's never easy job to do. Even in Cage Warriors, they very, very much hardly sign former UFC names. For example, with Nicolas Dalby, it was a roller coaster, just like with Mats Burnell. Even if they're Europeans, they reject to sign. So it's kind of very, very hard to bring the former UFC guy. But yeah, Juan Adams has found a new home, and Wilson Hayes has found it. So it's great, actually. About Royce Gracie interview, I was listening to it. And if you watched my interview with Caleb Harris, I mentioned you. Don't know whether you've seen. And I mentioned you in the last, while I was commenting the last UFC event during that live stream, I mentioned you on a few occasions. So yeah, generally we'll see. We'll see what's next for these prospects, but yeah, some guys are destined to succeed. I just hope now that Gilbert is going to defeat Maia. So after he finishes the fight with Maia, I will contact him, and I'll try to make him accept the interview. And yeah, we will see now. So about this fight card, to give some final thoughts until Justin gets back. To give final thoughts, I pretty much believe that people criticize this fight card for no reason, and this is where I disagree with most people. All right, maybe we don't have big names here, aside of Davison Figueiredo and Joseph Benavidez. Maybe we don't have big names here, which is it's okay, It's okay, I understand you. You want to watch big names. The next weekend will bring Easy Boy and Yoel Romero, Bailey versus Joanna, and of course everybody are hyped because of that. It is okay, no problem. It's fair. I don't want to criticize anybody, but man, looking back at this fight card, now I will tell you what I see, and you tell me what you see. Grant Dawson, Derek Minor. I see the clash of experience and youth. I see the clash of a very, very experienced fighter who hasn't got his chance to shine, and against a young prospect who is ready to annihilate everybody in his way. So this is interesting fight, man. It can't be a boring fight. There's no way it could be a boring fight. We got Megan Anderson against Norma Dumont. All right. I honestly don't know why they put it in the main card, I'll be honest. Maybe because Megan Anderson is looking for an easier opponent, I don't know. But Norma Dumont, this is her debut, and she has a very, very tough opponent for debut. And she got the space. She got the place in the main card. It's kind of weird decision. Yonku Telaba against Magomed Ankalaev. Well, I found the sense here. I found the potential reason why this happened here, and the potential reason for this might be because they want to make European fighters popular. This might be the first one, and the second one, these are two completely different types of fighters. Magomed Ankalaev is a stand-up genius, stand-up phenom, stand-up genius, stand-up expert. This is Magomed Ankalaev. And Yonku Telaba, all right, he's not bad in the stand-up. I don't want to criticize him. He is far from bad. I mean, Kyle Roundtree didn't knock him out and so on. He progressed a lot. He learned some new skills. But against Magomed Ankalaev, I really believe that they want to see the clash of two different fighters and to make European fighters more popular, to show that European fighters are, getting into the spirit of things with the USA-based fighters and Canadian guys, Brazilian guys. The co-main event of the evening, all right. I also don't understand this matchup, I'll be honest, because, all right, maybe they want to make it more popular in France, which is kind of fair. I don't think it's wrong. I think it's kind of okay because, France is, how to say, France is now a new market. You know that they had that law against the UFC, and there were so many problems on their end, and it was not a good position to start, because there was no opportunity to create a UFC event in France, and yeah, that was the problem, And generally, I think this is a marketing moment. This is a good moment for marketing because the French girl is in the co-main event of the evening. I mean, Felicia Spencer is probably gonna kick her ass, but unfortunately, I believe that this is more like a marketing moment in the fight, which is gonna be ended very, very quickly. But the brightest point of this fight card is definitely Jose Benavidez and Davison Figueiredo. I believe UFC gave the advantage to Benavidez to show his skills, to finally get what he has never gotten through his whole career. I think this is the chance of his life to become popular, to shine. I mean, Jose Benavidez has always been so close to the goal, and he has unfortunately never reached his full potential, unfortunately. And this is the chance for him to win the title, to prove the world that he is the best 125er, and to finally shut the mouth of that boring Henry Cejudo. Yeah, Henry Cejudo, I mean, he talks too much. So this is a chance to shut his mouth. Now to analyze the preliminary card. I got to say that the return of Tom Breeze is going to bring a lot of attention, because Tom Breeze, he had nearly a 2-year layoff, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad story for everybody who watch this lovely sport and who give everything they have to this lovely sport, because Tom Breeze, well, to me, he is the pioneer of this sport, and I met Natajas Frederick and Mozu Bayer later, but I've always liked Tom Breeze, and I've always expected him to shine, and now he has a chance to shine against Brendan Allen, the guy who's heavily praised by Eric Anders, the guy I interviewed, and this is pretty much a good call out for the preliminary card. Also, Marcin Tybura against Sergey Spivak. Well, I want to say that this might be a great opportunity for these European guys. Marcin Tybura could resign his UFC contract on the other side, and on the bright side, we've got Sergey Spivak, the guy who knows to make surprises, obviously, because against Walt Harris, he looked like a broken man who was immediately swooped, but he surprised Taito Iwasa with a great performance and finished him. So, yeah, I believe this is a good pairing, because if Tybura wins, he remains in the UFC. If Spivak wins, maybe he will unlock the path of the progress to the higher levels and so on. And yeah, I pretty much believe this is a good pairing. And also, Alan Cruz versus Spike Carlisle is a good pair, because both of them are making their UFC debut, and this is a good call out for them. So yeah, this is really good call out for them. And before I leave, I just need to give a shout out to Justin Jr., and you can find him by typing this at YouTube, and he is a really great young potential of this MMA journalism. Very great potential, very big avid fan of this lovely sport, and he has the knowledge. He is also a great friend. He helps his business compatriots, so he even created me on that video game. He made a Bulgarian MMA fighter, and he deserves nothing but respect. I invite you here to support his channel and to subscribe it, to follow his episodes, his lovely interviews, and he had interviews with some really really elite names like Hoyce Clacy, Mark Coleman, Matt the Immortal Brown, Julian Adams, Wilson Hayes, Jason Kidd Knight, Caleb Harris, and many others. So yeah, he also has good boxers, good guys, strong guys, many powerful opponents, and powerful names are his guests. And I just want to say that he will be the legend of YouTube in the years to come, because I battled alone all the time, and now when I have the support, I feel 10 times better. I feel 10 times more prepared to succeed. And unfortunately, I must go now, must go to sleep. I have a lot of obligations tomorrow, must type, must learn, must, web designing and so on. This school is very tough, and tomorrow I'm interviewing Cage Warriors 185-pound champ Natalia Frederick, and a good friend of mine and a really, really great person. So hats off to everybody. Good night. Thank you for support, and see you all next time. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and to Justin JR962. Please, he is a fantastic guy. He knows a lot about this sport, and he will surely be a legend one day. Thank you all. Have a great night.